In this video, we're going to talk about event listeners. Now, this is an example copied straight from the documentation. The function is listen event. And what this does, okay, so we're used to seeing a wait event command down here where we do something like this. Equals wait event if event ID equals window event, window close, return 0, and exit the program. We're accustomed to seeing that, but in this case, we're just going to call wait event and not do anything else there. Now up here you'll notice we have this call to listen event, and we're listening for a window close event. The source of the event has to be our window that we created up here, and when that event occurs, we're going to run the event callback, which is declared up here. What does the event callback do? Well, it simply calls exit with a exit code of 0 and quits the program. So here's our window, and when we click on the close button, the program ends. We have this extra parameter here, and we do have the ability to pass another object in if we want to. For example, the UI object, and then we can retrieve that up here if we need to. We can call extra and then cast it to another object type, because object is the base object type. So that's an easy way that we can retrieve that object and use it for anything that we need to. Now, why would we want to do things this way? There's two reasons. One is if your program starts to get pretty complicated, then you're not going to want to have all of your event evaluation here in this main loop. You might have your program user interface spread out over many different code files, and so instead of having one big switch statement where you evaluate every single event that occurs, you can break it up into many different callback functions. We can also set the event source to null, and if we do that, every single event from any object will be run through this, will result in this callback being called. If I want to listen for every single window that can every single window close event from every possible window, I can do this, and then that way, since there's no source object defined, any window that closes will trigger this event callback. And I could still in that situation, I could still retrieve the window up here like this. Event source, and then cast it using the as command. Window. And then we might do something like if window, then we'll do some other stuff here. Now there's a second reason we might want to use an event listener, and if we go back here to the documentation, we're going to copy this example, the second example. Go back to Visual Studio and just paste it in. Now the easiest way for me to demonstrate this is to just comment out the listen event call here, and then we'll try running the program like this. Now what's going to happen is when a window resize event occurs, we're going to manually resize this panel. We haven't adjusted the widget layout. We're just going to manually resize it ourselves, and we're going to set some text on the panel to show us what the size of the panel is, and that'll happen every single time a window size event is retrieved by the wait event command. Okay, there's our window, and we have this panel in the center of it. And let's see what happens here. The panel is definitely resizing, but you'll notice it only updates when I let go of the mouse. The reason for that is because on Windows, when you click and drag a mouse, a window like this, it goes into its own loop. And this is an operating system thing. This isn't something that our software controls. It goes into its own loop, and it doesn't return from the wait event command until you let go of the mouse. Now that's not really the behavior we want, because we want that panel to update immediately. However, when we have an event listener, that callback is going to get called inside the wait event function as you're resizing the window. So the callback will be instantaneous, but if we have to wait for the wait event function to return, then what it's going to do is it's going to have a bunch of events all stacked up waiting for us, but we're going to have to wait until until Windows lets go of that window. Let me show you what I mean. Now you can see as I'm resizing this, it's instantly updating, which is, if this is the behavior we want, then that's how you need to do it. Now this is actually something that we do use if you're doing any 3D rendering and you're using a child window for a 3D viewport on top of your program window, then this is actually how you're going to make that resize occur. If you have any other custom resizing that you've programmed, then this is how you'll want to do it. If you have any events that you want to occur as a window is being changed like this, then an event listener is your friend. So again, there's two reasons we would use these. One is just code organization, so that we don't have to have 1,000 different statements here in our main loop. And the second reason would be for any kind of custom behavior that we have when a window resize event is occurring.